What's going on, family? In this video, we want to discuss a subject that a lot of people have been asking us about teenagers. A lot of people think that we just speak about married couples or older ones or adults, which we do, mainly because that's what we are. But we were also teenagers at one point in time, and many people wonder, how do you stay happy as a teen? So that's what we're going to discuss in this video. So if you have teenagers, if you're a teenager, this video is for you. Or perhaps you could learn a couple things as well, even if you're not a teen, because we're all little kids for the rest of our life. But if you're a teenager, one of the reasons why people get so depressed, or why people suffer from teen depression, is because they think their circumstances determine who they are. But remember, your circumstances don't define you, your decisions do. So it's whether you decide what something is going to mean to you. It's also the meaning that you give things, right? So you could have the same experience in life, but have an entirely different meaning, right? So one child could say have an abusive father, abusive mother, perhaps or hit them or abused in a variety of different ways. And perhaps they think, or perhaps they lost their mother or lost their father, or their brother or sister, died in a car accident, something horrific had happened to them or is happening to them. So in their life, they feel, hey, due to my circumstances, I have every reason in the world to be depressed. But somebody could have that same exact experience, but have given an entirely different meaning, right? Same child, one person deals with the loss of a mother, or an abusive parent, or a difficult household. Perhaps they're growing up in the truth all alone and their parents are worldly, like the way that I grew up. But I took it as, I gave it a much different meaning, because my mother was an alcoholic, and people constantly swearing and doing drugs, and it was craziness. And I lost my grandmother, had to deal with death and problems financially. I took it as, hey, life is meant to be lived happily, because you never know what's going to happen to you. If you don't live your life to the fullest, you don't give your best in school, you don't give your all to Jehovah, you'll end up doing drugs, having financial problems, perhaps being an alcoholic, being miserable or depressed in life. So make sure that you give your best to Jehovah, try your best in school, and make the most of every single day, right? That was the meaning that I gave it because of the circumstances around me. But somebody else, my sister, for example, went through the exact same things that I did, but she gave it an entirely different meaning. She said, hey, my mom's depressed, an alcoholic, there's drugs, so I'm gonna do drugs. I'm gonna be depressed.
I'm gonna be an alcoholic.
If they're miserable, I'm gonna be miserable. I have every reason in the world because I have to turn out the same way that my parents do. Because life is short, you never know what's gonna happen, so you might as well just sit and be depressed because you can't determine the future. So we had the same exact circumstances, but we gave it an entirely different meaning. So a lot of the times why teens are depressed is because it's the meaning that they give their circumstances in life, right? You could go through the exact same things, but have an entirely different outcome. One child has an abusive household, but they're happy. One child has an abusive household, but they're depressed. One child has, a mother or father that was, killed, and they say, hey, life is short, so you have to enjoy every moment that you have with friends and family because you never know when they're gonna go, when they're gonna die. Another person loses their mother or father, brother or sister.
So to teenagers, I would say, to have a happy life, I would personally say don't focus on your past. Focus on what's going on now,
right,
and try to work on that. Try to focus on what you can do to make yourself happy.
Right.
Try to hang out with others that will make you happy.
Right.
Don't hang out with people that are going to make you feel depressed and sad,
right,
and they have so many problems. If that's something that's going on in your household,
right,
try to hang out with brothers and sisters that are going to make you feel happy, that are going to
right,
talk about good experiences. One of our problems that we deal with in this world is that everybody wants to talk about their problems,
right,
every
right,
day.
and
we have a lot of problems already. We have a lot of problems. What we need to do is start talking about our joys and what's
right,
going on good in our life.
what
because what problems do, that's one of the things why I didn't watch news, because all I see was problems and
right,
bad news. All
right,
you hear is bad. So what we want
The
to try to
gossip,
start to do
negativity.
is try to talk about our joys, hang out with people that are talking about what happened in their ministry today,
Right.
what they accomplished today, good things that happened in their life, what they want in their future, what they see in paradise, who they want to see when they come,
Right.
when they resurrected. All good things. We don't want to talk
Right.
about negative. All we focus about negative in life. So we want to stop focusing about our past, what's going on in our household, and try to focus on hanging out with people that are going to make us feel better,
Right.
are going to just bring joy to our life. And that's
Right.
one thing that you can do to help you in your life and be a happy teenager.
Right, 100%. And that's the other thing. In life, it's all about the meaning that you give things, and it's also where you have your focus, right? So if somebody's depressed, and we're going to do a couple of videos. This one's on teen depression, or how to make it through your teens if you have a rough life. But just in life in general, it's all about the meaning that you give things, and it's all about the focus. So my wife said, I spoke about the meaning. Hey, you could go through the same circumstance and one person can give it a different meaning, right? So what does this mean to me? This means, and you take something positive, another person, they take something negative. Try to focus on something positive. And like my wife said, if you're driving down the highway and you're constantly looking in that rear view mirror, then you're probably gonna crash because you need to focus on what's ahead, right? You need to focus on where you are. You need to look ahead. It's okay to look into the rearview mirror at times. You can use your past at times, like, hey, I went through something as a kid, or
And this taught me this.
Right.
But don't stay in the past.
but don't live in the past, because your
Don't
past does not equal your future.
It does not, and you're not doing yourself any good, like focusing on the past. You
Right.
have to focus on now,
Right.
and what's going on now,
Right.
and what you're doing now to have a better future, or
Right.
whatever it is. You don't always want to focus always about the future either. You want to
Right.
focus on
You
what's
wanna
going
focus
on
on
now. So yeah, for the teenagers, I would tell you to keep it short. Try to focus on what's happening now. Don't focus on what's going on
Right.
at home. Try to focus on the joys and things that you want out of life. Try to hang out with friends and family that are
Positive
going to make you
people.
feel
Right.
better, not
Yeah.
talk about their issues all the time.
Right.
Yes, it's nice to talk about what's going on to make yourself feel better and talk to someone about your
Right.
situation, but don't always talk about that.
But don't hang around people who reinforce the negative things that are going on in your life. If you're constantly hanging around people, and this is what happens in society and the truth everywhere, because that's just what's happening in today's world, where you're being emotionally abused or you have an abusive household. We like to throw that word around so loosely, right? But the problem is, when I go up to somebody, say in a congregation or at work or in school or a teacher, and I say, hey, I have an abusive household. Well, that's okay, Ryan. I understand. That's too bad. They're reinforcing the negative behavior. They're saying, they're letting you know, hey, it's okay to be depressed. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to, feel suicidal. But you don't want to hang around people who are going to reinforce negative behavior. You want to hang around people that say, hey, man, cut that out. Focus on what you're grateful for. Okay, you have an abusive household, something is going bad, but what could you do right now to feel grateful? Because what's wrong in your life is always available, but
What's right is also available.
right,
too.
but so is what's right.
But we tend to always focus on the bad.
Always focusing on
the
the negatives,
bad.
right?
Yeah,
But
and we have so many things that are good in our life.
that is so good. And you can ask yourself every day, if you're a teenager and you're watching this and you're suffering from depression, or you feel that you have a horrible life, and perhaps you have horrible things. Look, I had a very difficult childhood, but I was a very happy kid. I had bad days, but for the most part, I was a very happy child. Because every day I didn't focus on what's wrong, I focused on what's right. I didn't focus on, why is my past so messed up? Why are my parents so messed up? Why aren't they doing this? I didn't allow the outside world to control how I feel in my inside world. I chose how I was gonna feel. I didn't let other people determine how I was gonna feel. I asked myself every day, how can I appreciate and experience even more love and joy? How can I experience and appreciate even more of God's guidance in this present moment? How can I appreciate and experience even more gratitude right now? What can I be more grateful for? Ask yourself better questions. Ask yourself better questions on a regular daily basis. It'll change the meaning that you give life, and also change the focus on how you feel. And I can guarantee you'll get over that teen depression. And even if you're not a teen, this is good advice.
Yeah,
Because
you don't
this
have
is
to be
something that changed my life
depressed. You
and it
don't have
changed
to
my
be
wife's as
depressed.
well.
You don't have to have a terrible household life. You could just be a teenager and you don't see what's good in your life.
Right.
You need to appreciate more what's good in your life. So
Right.
other teenagers have a really bad like situation what they live with, you
And
know,
they're still
alcoholic, drug addicts, whatever it is, and
Right.
they're still happy. If you do have a happy household and you're happy, you have everything good, try to appreciate that.
Right.
You know, like just be grateful for every moment in your life and just try to appreciate your teenager years, you know.
Right, absolutely.
So for all you guys that are watching, thank you for watching. I hope this was helpful. And tell us, what type of mentality do you live in? Do you live in your past? Do you live in your future? Do you live in your present time? Let us know.
Right.
Comment below.
Absolutely, and don't be afraid to like this video, subscribe if you haven't already done so, and of course, share your learnings. Comment below. All right,
Love you
family, love you guys.
Bye.